Well, welcome back to the St. Mary's campus and inside of University Credit Union Pavilion, where the Pilots are in town to take on the Gales here tonight. It's Thursday night WCC action. Let's take a look at the starting lineups that we're rolling out tonight. The injuries that Dan talked about in the open just continuing to affect the Pilots. No Malcolm Porter yet again. He was hurt last week down at Loyola. So JoJo Walker, Isaiah White, we discussed. The freshman point guard, Chase Adams out of Chicago. Tahiro Diabate and Jacob Tryon will round out that starting five. Tanner Krebs, Jordan Ford, Alex Dukas in the lineup. Once again, Malik Fitz and Dan Fotu. Alex Dukas starting the last three for the Gales. Tommy Kuzi coming off the bench, and that's been working out well as of late, Dan, for Randy Bennett, Dan Belwami, and Kate Scott with you tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in wherever you're watching the Stadium broadcast tonight. Malik Fitz will take that one.
Well, Kate, really important for Portland. Didn't happen to get off to a quick start
like that.
Yeah, you know, Ford, he's been hurt, not hurt, but really, he's been ill the last couple of games.
Yep.
And he's not had Jordan Ford types of games, but he's about due to explode.
Well, that's a great start for the senior out of Folsom. His head coach, Randy Bennett, in his 19th year. Had a great conversation with Randy before the pregame nap.
Yeah, he's averaged 27 wins a year over his last four. He's done a brilliant job at St. Mary's. Just a master coach.
Three-time coach of the year here in the WCC. Got a 10-year extension recently, so they're hopefully keeping him here, fingers crossed, through the 2026-2027 season. Just one of the best coaches in all of Division I men's college hoop. So here's Chase Adams, again, the 5'7" freshman points out of Chicago. Diabate with the specs. Junior for Molly. Trying to back down Fotu. Shot clock winding down. Three to shoot. Walker sees it. Let's fly. And that one, I don't think hit the rim. So it'll be Gales basketball one way or the other.
Yeah, well defended. And of course, Terry Porter, you know, what an outstanding all-around career he's had. Fourth season as head coach at Portland. You know, had his number retired with the Portland Trail Blazers. Started playing college basketball, Kate, at Wisconsin-Stevens Point, which was a D3 school.
That's good knowledge, Dan. And Ford letting fly again from three.
And his coach was Dick Bennett. And of course, the legendary Dick Bennett, his son Tony Bennett, by the way, did win the NCAA championship last year at Virginia.
He's an okay coach too. As Fitz takes it end to end and finishes with a hammer. I'd say the Gales were excited to get back in front of their home crowd.
Well, you look at Fitz and Ford, you got maybe the best 1-2 punch in the league. So Walker, certainly the Pilots need a good, we talked about at the top of the show, no question White and Walker have to come up big tonight if they're going to stay in it.
That was the junior JoJo Walker out of Carolina, Puerto Rico. Here's Dan Fotu, stepped in after the injury to Matthias Thomas earlier in the season. Can't get the roll. As we mentioned, Gales have won 3 in a row. Held off a stingy San Francisco squad here last Thursday and then knocked off Loyola. Pilots have dropped 5 straight. Malik Fitz gets the roll this time.
He's a powerful player. You know, we talked to Terry Porter, and one thing he lamented about this afternoon was we're making way too many turnovers. I mean, we can't win games if we turn the ball over, and some of them are unforced.
And on that note, Dan, 3 quick turnovers here, and we're not even 3 minutes into this game.
I really thought, Kate, that they might go inside to Diabate a little bit more, and here you know, you see Fitz. I mean, he's a powerhouse going down the lane. I mean, the guy is big and strong at 6'8", and he can really, you know, he can get inside with traffic. And I really think he's got a great chance to play at the next level.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were excited about him earlier.
He can shoot it outside. He's not maybe a tremendous outside shooter, but good enough.
And there's a lot of guys, as you know, Dan, who work on the outside shot as they get to the league. If they have the body, Ford again. 2 triples in our first 4 minutes for Jordan Ford. Well, I'd say he wanted to wipe the slate clean after his last performance here last Thursday. First time he had not hit a field goal in 73 games. As you mentioned, he was ill last week, but didn't want to use that as an excuse because he's such a darn good shooter. Still finished with 8 points because of 8 made free throws, but wanted to come back here and show out for the home crowd.
Well, he sure is. I mean, a quick start by the Gales at 10-2.
of the start we expected. St. Mary's 18-4 on the season. And Randy Bennett's team could easily be 21-1, Dan, because 3 of their 4 losses by a combined 11 points. So they're right there. Dayton definitely got past him, but again, the Flyers' number 7 in the country is Jacob Tryon. Gets his first bucket of the night.
Yeah, I kind of like that action right there. Diabate to Tryon. You got 2 big guys. Tryon is about 7 feet. And St. Mary's biggest guy on the floor is about 6'8". So I really think Portland's got an opportunity. If they get the ball down deep, they might be able to attack inside to out or get some easy scores. Well, now the Gales are going to make every shot.
But if Ford and Fitz continue shooting the lights out like they have been, my goodness, hello, the redshirt junior Malik Fitz.
Got to be patient if you're the Pilots.
There's White into the lane. Nice jump stop, too strong. Diabate bouncing that one out for Adams. And Tryon lets fly from distance.
Got to stop the ball here if you're Portland. You get your defense up. Let's get out after them a little bit, because certainly the Gales, I mean, they're looking for the 3, and they've been doing a really good job of knocking it down. Got a mismatch here. You can go right up with it.
3 for their last 3. Here's Alex Dukas, who's been inserted into the starting lineup in large part because of his offense.
Well, you're getting a preview, anybody watching the game, why St. Mary's is number 1 in the nation. I'll say it again. Number 1 in the nation in 3-point field goal percentage. As a team, they're about 42%.
And they're also pretty good at throwing it down when they get the chance as well. Vision listings, or you can go to watchstadium.com. Stadium, welcome to the game and welcome to Moraga here in the Bay. Just a little bit east of the Cal campus, about 30 minutes, 2 hours, depending on traffic, east of San Francisco, Dan. And Malik Fitz, I mean, you were excited about this guy earlier today in shoot-around. Perfect from the floor, a couple of assists, a couple of steals in our first 5 minutes.
Well, I thought Fitz had a great year last year. I mean, he's certainly an accomplished player, but you don't realize how powerful he is. And the fact is, the Gales, when you lead the nation in the 3-point field goal percentage, you know, you got to get right up on them, force them to go to the basket. So Randy Bennett said he likes the way his team is playing. They're coming on, they're playing better than they did earlier, and you're getting a pretty good glimpse of it right here in the beginning of the game. And it's been 1 and out for the Pilots.
42% from beyond the arc. That's what the Gales shoot as a team. And 4 of their 5 starters shooting over 40% from 3-point land as well. Tanner Krebs, who misses that 3-pointer. The other starter shooting very well from beyond the arc. Nice dish that time from Adams to Diabate.
Yeah, Diabate, his last game, by the way, against Pepperdine. I mean, he had 25 and, 7-8 rebounds.
Yep.
So he's a young man that's really improved the last couple of years. I told Terry Porter, your staff has done a great job. A much better player than he was a few years ago. That's just too easy. It's way too easy.
Welcome to the ball game, the freshman out of Perth, Australia. That was one of the things that Terry talked to us about this morning. Got to watch those turnovers as Diabate puts it up and in, and he'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
Just talking about Diabate, and you know, he's an interesting young man. He's a guy that speaks 5 languages. Japanese is one of the languages he speaks, but this is just screen and roll, pretty basic right here. And in Diabate, they're forcing Diabate to turn to his left. You know, kind of play on his right shoulder, force him to go the other way. And he's a lefty, not a very good free throw shooter, but he's done a great job in all the other areas. Good rebounder, good scorer, runs the floor well, athletic.
Such an interesting story, too. Grew up in Bamako, Mali, went to high school in Japan, has lived in France, the Canary Islands, speaks 5 languages. Just a really well-rounded culture guy. Tommy Kuzi, who was starting the year in the starting lineup, dishes to Malik Fitz, and the Fitz show continues here tonight.
I don't even have a better start if you're the Gales. I mean, they're playing like an NCAA tournament team tonight. Well, right back at you. And White is a critical player, and he's a transfer from Maine. He's certainly an accomplished guy, but his scoring has fallen off from the start of the year. You know, when he got into league play, it kind of dropped. So they need him to pick it up.
Yeah, he was a WCC Player of the Week back in November, right around Thanksgiving. Ford tucking it that time, has it tipped away. Malik Fitz, heat check that time. Off back iron, his first miss of the night had been 4 for 4. And a perfect 2 for 2 from beyond the arc before that. Nice defense that time by Fitz. And Gales are saying that one went off of Diabate, and our officiating crew will agree. Frank Harvey, DJ Nelson, Tom O'Neill, our officials tonight as we take another look.
Well, here's the over-the-top pass. And I think that, you know, the thought, I like the idea that they just, you know, didn't execute. But if they're fronting you like that, that high to low over the top can work. And I think Portland, they've got to get some stops. I mean, obviously, they got to pick it up defensively.
Don't be trading buckets when you're down 10. We would go the other way. You see what happened there, partner? Did he step on the line?
No, I think he traveled. To my recollection, it looked like, oh, he was out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, very close to the court here, which we love.
Yeah, we were definitely blocked out.
Didn't get to see exactly what happened. Can see what happens this time. It's a tie-up, and the possession arrow remains in St. Mary's favor. Diabate, you really couldn't say enough about this young man during shoot-around today. He'll get a quick breather. Taki Farrenson, the redshirt sophomore out of Auckland, New Zealand, checking in. Good to see him just healthy again. Had missed 6 games this year with a calf injury, just back against Loyola last week.
Excellent drive that time, by the way.
JoJo Walker,
yeah,
talks about in the open.
Walker's very talented. He was coming off the bench earlier in the year, had a big game against Gonzaga. Played well against San Francisco in their win, their lone win, which is, quite frankly, a very good win. There's that pick and roll again. I mean, how many times have they run that?
Too easy.
You know, gotten something very easy right on the rim.
That's the sophomore, Dan Fotu from Auckland, New Zealand. Again, was coming off the bench and then took over for the injured Toss. Here come the Gales. Krebs. Jordan Ford with a couple of 3-pointers to his name tonight. They'll feed Fotu. Fitz. Oh my goodness!
I don't think Fitz is going to miss one, but he has missed a few.
13 and counting. Third 3-pointer in our first 10 minutes for Malik Fitz. Well, we saw this already once this year, just down the road at Cal. He absolutely lit up the Golden Bears. Season high 28 in that win over California, but Jacob Tryon and the Pilots not going away.
Well, Kate, and remember the game they had at Arizona State.
Oh my goodness, Jordan Ford couldn't miss.
Yeah, right, and that was a convincing win. You know, St. Mary's has had some, their schedule is much, much better. They've had some significant wins, including Wisconsin earlier in the year, which is a good win.
Fitz, a second chance.
Oh, what an upset. Maybe we better take him out.
Whew, finally cooling down. Yeah, I think his night might be over, Dan. Hasn't produced in the last 10 seconds. Here's Taki, as they call him. Takiula Farrenson. Still trying to find his stroke, as we mentioned, just back from injury. Great crowd as far as the students are concerned here tonight. Jordan Ford left alone on the wing. Yes, sir! Here's the number 1 3-point shooting team in the country.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. When the ball goes inside to Fotu, if you're Walker, you cannot leave Ford. You've got to stay with Jordan Ford. You force somebody else to score.
Dan Fotu with the swats. Everything going right now for the St. Mary's Gales. 7 triples already for St. Mary's tonight. And their defense, led by Dan Fotu, looking good as well.
And
I think he's earned it.
Yeah, he's earned it. And you got to look, everybody that's watching the game, why this club leads the nation in three-point field goal percentage.
And Fitz, in addition to those 3 trays, also has 3 steals, just one away from tying his career high. So work to do for Terry Porter and the Pilots. 9-13 on the season, 1-6 here in the WCC as Kuzi skies for that rebound. Press down by defended. Tommy Kuzi is a walk-on.
Yeah, and Tommy's a walk-on, and he's a guy that really can run the point, handle the ball. And now Portland's going to switch it up, go zone. But see, it kind of frees up Jordan Ford to kind of play without the ball and spot up and shoot threes. So Kuzi's been an important cog in the wheel here at St. Mary's for a long, long time.
Redshirt junior out of Mesa, Arizona. Mountain View High School product. Really was important in last Thursday's win over USF. The Dons had a big lead. Alex Dukas looking for his second tray of the night. To that one knocked out with State Gales basketball. But they really needed him, as we mentioned. Jordan Ford wasn't feeling well, wasn't hitting like he has tonight and has the rest of his career. And Tommy really was the guy who came off the bench, stepped up, and helped them secure that win. No low corner pass to Dukas.
Great pass by Kuzi. So the guy taking it out of bounds usually is always your best passer. So especially when the other team is zoning the out of bounds, you know, that's just a smart setup and well-executed play that results in a 3.
That the 10th St. Mary's assist already tonight. And when they reach that 10 number, Dan, 16-1 on the season when they have 10 assists, as we take another look at this foul.
Well, you see White rather inside, and you know, it's a good call. He was definitely bumped, and I think White's a little upset at himself. He didn't make that easy shot.
The first on Tommy Kuzi, team's 3rd in this first half. St. Mary's with a comfortable, at the moment, 32-15 lead, but they were up 24 on LMU on Saturday. Loyola got within 7. So
well, if you're Portland, here's the goal. You know, this is what I call a great opportunity. If you're the Pilot. But seriously, if they can get this to single digits at halftime, you know, that's a win. What they ill afford to do is let St. Mary's go to 20 to 25 at halftime. Then it's almost insurmountable. So now the Pilot's going to switch it up. They're going to go 3-quarter court press and probably will fall back into a zone just to slow the Gales down. See if they go back zone. They normally do.
What they do. Quincy Farabee, number 4 in the black and purple, is checked in, top of the zone for the Pilots. And there's Dukas again in the corner. Also checking in, Theo Kuba, number 12 in the black. Pretty short bench with Terry Porter, so many injuries. Malcolm Porter, his son, out. LeVon Harewood out due to injury tonight as well. Here's Isaiah White, the grad transfer out of Maine. Nice step through that time.
Yeah, that's a beautiful step through. You know, it's interesting, too, that Portland's going with Diamante and Kuba together, which they don't normally play a lot together, but usually that's going to be a zone team defensively. Soft spot in the zone is get it right in the middle.
Oh! Why not look for Jordan Ford in the corner, too?
Not bad.
4th three-pointer for Jordan Ford. We still have 8 minutes to play in our first half. 12 already for Ford.
Next time down, watch Bowen, number 14, because he'll play in the middle of the zone. And they try to attack there. Got to protect the ball here.
Keith Aronson has it touched away. But the Gales were the last to touch it. So it will be Pilot basketball when we come back. But still raining here inside of the U-Cup. Jordan Ford, the latest. St. Mary's cruising. Percentages from beyond the arc.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, yeah, as you say, all 4 of those guys start. So, you know, it's hard to get off of anybody. And not disappointing tonight, 9 of 17 from 3s. And they've outscored Portland 27-3 from 3-point range.
Whew. And everybody's getting involved. 11 assists on 13 made buckets so far for the Gales. Second in this WCC conference, according to Joe Lunardi, one of 3 WCC teams that, at the moment, will be headed to the dance, the NC2A tournament. Here's Theo Akuba, the sophomore out of Montgomery, Alabama. Can't get the roll, almost had the O-board, but Kuzi clears and then leaves it a bit too far in front of Tanner Krebs. Not often that you see that. Randy Bennett, assisted by Marcus Schroeder, Justin Joyner, Mickey McConnell. Great to see Mickey back in the fold this morning. This was his scout.
Yeah, the great
out
Mickey
there leading the way at shoot-arounds.
Mickey was a former West Coast Conference Player of the Year
Yes, he was.
in 2011.
Helped the Gales to that Sweet 16 in 2010. And I think, too many steps that time by Akuba. Still getting back into rhythm. Missed the first 9 games of the season, so still looking for things.
The thing is about Akuba, Kate, he's had a couple of opportunities at about 6'11" inside. Now, unforced, you can ill afford to shuffle your feet. The referee's right there. Those are plays that you have to go ahead and put away. He's another easy one inside.
Making it too easy for Dan Fotu tonight. Again, not the biggest guy down there, 6'7", 220.
Well, since Matthias Toss tore an ACL back in the Nevada game, and Toss is a tremendous player at about 6'10", so he's out for the whole year. Dan Fotu was coming off the bench, but now starting. But that was a huge loss for St. Mary's, because I thought Toss was one of the better big guys in the league.
Nice mid-range that time by the junior from San Diego, Quincy Farabee. Trying to fire the Pilots up here, final 6 minutes of our first half. Again, just one trip down the floor at a time. Get a stop, get a bucket, try to cut this lead down to single digits.
Watch the ball, watch 14. They're going to try to get it to Bowen. He pivots, the defense collapses, and then you hit the open guy. So you know St. Mary's, the focal point is get it to the middle of the zone. Once they do, Bowen just finds the open guy on the outside because the zone naturally collapses.
10 first half three-pointers for the Gales. Tommy Kuzi.
See if they zone again.
With the last for the Gales.
Watch Bowen, 14. He's the guy they're looking for. And then he will initiate the offense from the free throw line. See if they get it to him. Well,
great pass from Kuzi and an even better defensive stop by Diabate. And the Pilots with a nice little end-to-end sequence that time. The big block and then the triple from Isaiah White.
that was a highlight for the Pilots, defense to offense.
And that's the flash. Yeah. I mean, that's what they showed us at the beginning of the WC season. They put a scare into Gonzaga in the first half in that opener.
It played USC tough early in the year, who, by the way, I think is very, very talented.
They're definitely going to have a shot in the Pac-12 tournament. They kind of got off to a slow start in the Pac-12 season, but Portland has the potential. They have the talent, Dan.
Yeah, well, look at the Diabate block, which results into the White long-range three. So, you know, that's like a 5-point play. You know, you take away the 2 at one end, you get a 3 at the other. So this is what I mean by Diabate. He's a very smart guy. You know, he's a high-energy player. He's improved dramatically from his freshman year to his junior year, and he's a force now. He's definitely somebody you have to contend with when you're playing the Pilots.
6'9", 225 pounds. They call him D. The spin move that time. Pretty stuff from Tahiro Diabate. Up and over the 7'1", Jock Perry. Well, it's always interesting, Dan. When you get these guys, you know they're going to be really athletic, but pretty raw when they come into the WCC, and then to watch them grow over the years.
Well, that's one thing that, you know, when you look at the St. Mary's program, Randy Bennett has excelled in making big guys better than they were when they first came in.
Tanner Krebs from downtown. 11 threes in our first half here tonight.
I remember when Jock Landale was playing, you know, and he was just a terrific player for St. Mary's, but he wasn't when he first came into the program. And certainly the coaching staff made him a lot better. Another Isaiah White, fantastic move with the left hand.
They gotta stop the Gales from raining in another 3 if they want to get back in this ball game. 43-28, St. Mary's on top. Final 4 minutes of our first half. There's Jock, redshirt junior out of Melbourne. out with his own injury this year. Malik Fitz back in the game, and White's going to get called for the block that time. Fitz asking if maybe there was a little bit of a flop as well. Well, hope you brought your umbrella, everybody.
Yeah, look at it. The raining threes are the Gale. How do you like it? St. Mary's doing it tonight. So let's hope he's all right. We'll try to get a report if possible.
As we mentioned, already lost their starting big man, Matthias Toss, to a torn ACL back at the Nevada game in non-conference play. So we'll keep an eye on the redshirt senior, Tanner Krebs. Gales looking for a 4th straight win, 5-2 right now in the conference, 10-2 here at home on the season. Jock Perry, caught by Jordan Ford, that's going to be a goaltend.
One thing you notice about Kate, about all the bigs for St. Mary's, whenever the ball goes inside, they're always looking past. You know, they're looking cutters, and they're very unselfish when they do receive the ball.
Jock just back from injury against Seattle right before the new year. A big game in the Gales' overtime win over the BYU Cougars. That time Diabate using his athleticism. We just saw Tanner Krebs go out when we came back from break, but we talked to Terry Porter about the injuries that he has faced so far this season, Dan, and he said, no, I've never had anything like this as a player or as a coach.
Yeah, well, there's the amazing graphic. No player has started every game. So they've had all the different starting lineups. How many players, 7 have missed games. Diabate, in fact, was out a couple of games
at
ago.
LMU because of an allergic reaction. They said at the end of shoot-around, all of a sudden his face started swelling up, his eyes started to close, and they had to rush him to the hospital. And that's kind of the way the season has gone so far for the Portland Pilots, but have already surpassed last year's win total, just 7-25 last year, 9-13 this year. And now looking to kind of find some continuity here at the second half of this conference season to pick up a few more wins, give them some momentum going into the tournament.
Which, by the way, I think the West Coast Conference tournament, obviously, you know, Gonzaga's #2 in the country. They're the team to beat. There's no question about that. But still, there's a lot more parity in the league than there was a year ago. And somebody gets hot, and you never know. Like San Francisco's playing really well now. They beat BYU. You know, they got Gonzaga Saturday.
Hosting Gonzaga on Saturday.
And that, you know, if they could some kind of way get a win, it puts them right. To me, it puts them in the NCAA talk.
Malik Fitz looking for another three-pointer, no good. But when we were talking with Randy Bennett earlier, I mean, the Dons, coached up by Todd Golden, former Gale here in his first year as head coach across the bay. They put a scare in the Randy Bennett squad. They were up 14 on the Gales here last Thursday.
Yeah, they were up 14, and Randy said, look, this was a really good win for us. We had come from way behind. We had to, you know, distribute. Yeah, that was a game, by the way, where Ford was 0 for 9, who was ill, but regardless, the Dons had to do a good defensive job on him.
It just completes the thought that you were speaking on, the fact that the WCC tourney this year in Vegas, if you don't have your tickets yet, it is going to be a load of fun. As we know, St. Mary's upset Gonzaga in last year's championship game, 60-47 for their 4th tournament title. Got themselves into the NC2A tournament, double block that time.
That was a double block.
Tryon Diabate teaming up for the Swats.
Diabate, you can't take anything up in the air near him, because I mean, he's coming for the block.
6'9" and 6'11".
Yeah, and she said that this is like a double block. Fotu, yeah, Tryon and Diabate both got that one. Who you giving the block to? First guy that touches it. Now I'm going to give it a try.
Like how they do tackles in football, right? Who had the solo tackle? Was it an assisted tackle? JoJo Walker, the junior again, native of Puerto Rico. Drains the first. We're coming up Saturday 4 Eastern. Do a little A10 report. George Mason visiting the Bonnies St. Bonaventure on Stadium, the only 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Stadium, welcome to the game.
Every time I see St. Bonaventure, of course, I'm going way, way back.
Do you think, man, it's hard to get to?
Well,
Is that not what you're thinking?
No,
I was just there a couple of
I'm
weeks
not-
ago, and man,
it is hard to get to.
It makes Pullman feel easy to get to here on the West Coast. What were you saying?
I wasn't thinking
Sorry
that.
to distract you.
That's okay.
No,
now,
not
now I
travel.
forgot what I was going to say.
You're
No.
going to say
I
a
was
while
gonna
ago.
I was going to say Bob Lanier.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you laughing. That makes me happy. What a save by Tommy Kuhse. And that's what he does, a little bit of everything for this St. Mary's team. Malik Pitts going pretty much from the Pilots' lap all the way to the other side of the hoop. He has 15, leading all scorers right now. Final minute 15 of our first half. Been a quiet one so far for the freshman Chase Adams. 17-point lead for the Gales, looking to add on.
Yeah, Portland's had a few opportunities, but they have not been able to cash in. And of course, you know, at halftime, I'm sure the conversation's going to be at the defensive end. They've really given St. Mary's too many easy opportunities inside.
Shot clock at 7. Ford.
That's a long one.
Oh my goodness. We're used to those here in the Bay now.
Yeah, that was for Berkeley, that one there. See if Portland can finish strong. High and low has been effective. They're looking for Diamante, but you know, Fotu did a good job in front of him.
Walker high off glass, no good. And is that going to be an over the back on Diamante? It will be. Been a clean first half though for the Pilots. Hero going a little bit up and over Fotu that time. Got position.
Well, Portland in this situation, it looks like they've only got, St. Mary's is not on the one-on-one. There hasn't been a whole lot of free throws in
They
this
have not
first half.
shot a free throw
So
in this first half.
So you've got fouls to take if you're Portland. So what you want to do is, if you have to bump a guy, if you have to foul him before he gets it off, do it, because you got fouls to take.
Porter shoots. Fotu trying to tip. Walker will not get it off in time. 3 minutes since the Gales scored, and that is one of the reasons why St. Mary's has such a big lead here going into the half. The other, well, they made 11 of their 22 three-point attempts in our first half, shooting 50% from beyond the arc. They are the #1 team from 3 in the country, and they're showing us why so far tonight. Gales up big after 1 here in Moraga. Pilots. Let's take a look at our play of the game of sorts, Dan. I think you're going to flash back moments of the game. I knew it wasn't the play, because it's more of a moment. Tonight, our coaches versus cancer game here at University Credit Union Pavilion. So everybody in pink before the game, looking great.
Yeah, St. Mary's all in pink, coaches versus cancer, and our moment of the game. So that's the way the Gales come out in their warm-ups, and kind of kept it rolling when the game started also.
And I gotta say, Randy looking pretty dapper in the bright pink, don't you think? Kind of brings out his eyes.
Randy would argue with that. He'd probably say I look pretty dapper in whatever I wear, but certainly highlighted tonight.
Say, I don't know, I think the black sweats I was in earlier tonight were pretty good. Bennett, 202 WCC wins and counting now. The all-time wins leader here at St. Mary's has led these Gales to 12 straight postseason appearances, including the NCAA tournament last year.
Well, Randy's done a magnificent job at St. Mary's. And this year, how many international players they have? I think they're second in the country in terms of international players behind Maine.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know. Maine, I think, has the
Good
most
knowledge.
But the thing is, you know, it started a long time ago with a guy by the name of Adam Capehorn that came here as the first Australian player. About 21 or 22 have followed since, but Capehorn was the first. You know, Daniel Kickert came here also right after that. And it's kind of started the rotation flowing with Emmett Nahr and Patty Mills. And, I mean, so many guys.
Well, but the cool thing, Dan, is that, as you mentioned, 9 international players, and they mesh so well with guys who are local, like Jordan Ford, who just started us off with the first bucket in the second half. Well, the melting pot of Moraga.
Absolutely, and Randy found the key to success with Australia. There's no doubt about that.
Chase Adams, a good start for the freshman here in the second half.
Well, Kate, I said the first 5 minutes are pivotal for Portland. Can they find a way to get a few stops and kind of crawl back into this game? Good for Adams to make that shot.
Not
you know,
known
he's
for
been
his
struggling.
three-point prowess. Jordan Ford, on the other hand, is...
By the way, anytime Ford comes off the screen, if you give him any daylight at all, I mean, he's going up with it. So you almost have to contest every time he is moving off a high post screen.
No, we still have a lot of ball to play, Dan, but what are Jordan's pro prospects look like?
Well, I think Jordan, you know, he patterns his game, you know, after Steph Curry. I mean, that's what, I'm not saying he's in that class, but the fact is,
to the lane, draws the foul, so he'll go to the line.
White's been big. White's been huge, but, you know, Jordan Ford's got a lot of game. He is a guy that is so quick and can put it on the deck so well that gets off his shot in an instant. I mean, I think you got to take a look at him. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. He'll, you know, in my mind, a lot of people said, well, you know, will he get drafted? I think he will. I mean, I think if you're looking for, and he can play the point. He's not really a point guard, but he can play there.
Leads the WCC in scoring as White makes the 8th and 9th free throws for the Pilots tonight. Gales still have yet to go to the line this evening. Jordan Ford, though, leading all scores, 19 points. He averages 21, so right there already. And we, again, just at the start of this second half. Fotu kicks it out to Malik Fitz, who got the scoring started. He and Jordan Ford trading buckets early in our first half. And trading buckets here at the start of half number 2.
It's been unbelievable. And Malik, I mean, he didn't need a whole lot of room, but he is really looking for the long-range shot tonight. They're on a roll on the Gales.
Diabate drawing the contact. So Ford now with 19, Malik Fitz with 15. Between them, 8 3-pointers here tonight.
Gales shoot like this, they got a chance to beat anybody.
Whew.
I'm telling you.
Well, and we were talking about it earlier, Dan. 18-4 on the season, but 3 of those games, the Dayton one, the Flyers just kind of flew past.
Well, Dayton's what, 7 in the country. So. Now they did lose. They lost to Winthrop at home early in the year.
And that was a tough loss because it was 61-59. I mean, they lost that one by a bucket.
And they lost to Santa Clara close.
Point, 67-66.
And they lost in 4 overtimes in Stockton, the Pacific. So that's, you're right. A lot of those, you know, could have gone either way. Now they still got Gonzaga a couple of times, and they go to BYU. Beat BYU already, but they have to go up to Provo. BYU got a convincing win against Pepperdine tonight.
That is their next game, actually, going to be at Provo. Another big block by Diabate.
Jeez, Diabate's been unreal defensively.
3rd block for D, as they call him, and I think we're seeing why. Diabate, the lefty.
Oh, it's going for it. It's going for it.
Hey, it's about time something went for these Pilots.
That's right. It's going for Diabate
They're
tonight.
trying their tails off. They've had to deal with so many injuries, as we already mentioned. 8 different starting lineups. Jordan Ford, no good. Everybody getting a hand on this one. Finally, 5'7" point guard Chase Adams comes away with it. Trying to go coast to coast. Nice use of the glass that time by the Chicago native Chase Adams.
Don't quit Portland. They're hanging right in there on a night where St. Mary's is really lighting it up from all over the floor.
Well, Well, we were just talking about 7 guys have missed at least 1 game due to injury or illness this year for Terry Porter's squad.
Diamante covers a lot of ground. I mean, he's emphatic and a great rim protector. And then here he gets a friendly roll, and I think the basketball gods kind of rewarded him for all those blocks and said, we're going to give you that one.
10 points for Diamante, a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor. Also a couple of rebounds in those 3 blocks. Elijah Thomas, the redshirt junior, number 10, checking in for the Gales. Got to see about 4 minutes of playing time on Saturday with that comfortable lead at Loyola. And it's not often, as you know, Dan, I mean, Randy keeps his rotation pretty short once we get into conference play.
Really
7
does.
guys usually, so if you're 8 or 9, you could be playing really well as Fotu takes the charge. But unless the lead is large, you're not going to see that much time.
Yeah, Diamante did not like that call. I mean, certainly there was a lot of contact. Yeah, you know, I mean, to me, I'm kind of on Diamante's side on that call. I didn't think the defender was right in front. I thought he was more on the side.
Number 3 on Diamante, Pilots, second of this second half. 15 right now for the Gales. Tommy Kuhse from the corner. Just out of the reach of Diamante. That's what you want to do. You want to reward your big guys when they're running the floor like that. That kind of sums up the night for the Pilots so far. It has been all Gales here in Moraga. Available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. What more do you need? Stadium, welcome to the game. Welcome to the world as it belongs to Jordan Ford. If this is maybe your first time seeing Jordan. A 42% three-point shooter, Dan, and he's 5 of 10 from beyond the arc tonight, leading all scorers with 19. Blake Fitz right there behind him. Fitz will inbound. He's got 18 on 4 3-pointers, 7 of 11 from the floor. And these are the 2 guys that my partner here thinks have a very good chance of playing in the NBA in the next few seasons.
I think he's got a shot at it. There's no doubt about that.
Looking to get back to.
So does, by the way, so does Fitz when he leaves St. Mary's.
There's Malik, the redshirt junior out of Rancho Cucamonga. Damien High School alum, then started his collegiate career down in South Florida. Transferred here, sat out the 2017-18 season, was a second-team All-WCCer last year, and just really flourishing in his redshirt junior season. More Ford.
As you know, Jordan Ford, as a young guy, was a great chess player. And, he was. Yeah, like a chess master, as a matter of fact.
Bobby Fischer, like chess
Well,
master?
I don't know if he's Bobby Fischer, but
if he would have kept playing chess as opposed to basketball.
I mean, he was really into it when he was very young.
It's a great game to play.
And he learned a lot his first year when he played behind Rayhan and Nar. You know, those were the guys that kind of ran the Gales. So Ford learned that first year, didn't realize how much you had to give defensively. But when he saw the way Rayhan played defensively, he learned a lot, he said, in that first year. So, and he's picked it up right after that.
So after 25 minutes, St. Mary's finally going to shoot a free throw, Dan, as Dan Fotu makes the bucket and then completes the three-point play.
Well, they've made so many threes. They haven't gone to the rim much. They really have needed to go to the line. Now that's a kind of a quick, long-range shot.
And the frustration continues for these Portland Pilots
Well,
down 20 now.
And you got Diabate out of the game, Kate, so you got your primetime inside and rebounder. So see, that's what happens when Diabate's out. All of a sudden, you know, he's a guy that can get that defensive rebound.
But instead, Elijah Thomas gets the offensive rebounds. He'll head to the line. Diabate and Theo Kuba over on the bench right now. So the redshirt junior out of Peoria, Arizona, makes the first, and we're going to have these Pilots back in action for our next West Coast Conference game. Portland hosting the Cougars. That's next Thursday, 10 Eastern, right here on Stadium. The only 24/7 network available on both television and digital devices without a cable subscription. Stadium, welcome to the game. Thomas drains them both, making the most of the good chunk of playing time he's getting tonight. Haven't seen much time since that 4 overtime loss out at UOP on the 4th of this month. I'll say that one was on the floor, no shot, as JoJo Walker goes flying off the court. Quiet night for JoJo so far. Bowen, the freshman from Perth, Australia, who had some good minutes for Randy Bennett in the first half. We'll check in for Malik Fitz. See if he can pick up where he left off.
Well, you know, they had Farmson under the basket, didn't see him. Well, Bowen, who came in for Fitz, is a very good passer. Randy really likes his game. He's going to be a star here at St. Mary. Another steal. See, Kuzi's just all over the place.
Fotu, my goodness. What a move from the big man. Up and under.
Gales just do not turn the ball over much. It's always been a hallmark of St. Mary's basketball. They are a team that they just don't beat themselves, and rarely do they make unforced turnovers. And that's all translated into guard play. They've had great guards here at the Gales, you know, all through the years with Dellavedova and Bills and Stephen Holt, McConnell, Emmett Narr, Aaron Bright. They've had so many good guys. It's incredible. And of course, Jordan Ford, who's here now, and you look at Kuzi, Tommy Kuzi.
Yep.
And you said when he comes in, everything just, you know, kind of flows a little bit better.
He's one of those glue guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And Ford gets to kind of roam around, not have to worry about bringing the ball up, and they just never seem to make too many mistakes in transition. Guess why they averaged 27 wins a year in the last 4 years? They went 30 a couple of years ago. Here they go. Now see how they handle it. They just don't turn it over much.
With an and-one opportunity. This has been a great few minutes for Elijah Thomas.
This is what you call a picture-perfect fast break. Ford, the ball barely hits the deck, and just an easy finish that time by Thomas. So one thing you can ill afford to do defensively is give your opposition basically uncontested, easy runaways for scores. You've got to force them to kind of get into their offense. And Thomas, who's a good shooter, has come in and played well.
5 points now for Thomas. Jordan Ford leading him on that last easy bucket. 5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes for the Pilots. And this is something that Terry Porter spoke with us about earlier, Dan, that they sometimes have turnovers in bunches, and it's that 3-4 minute span that can just be the difference. Obviously,
well,
there was quite a hole to dig themselves out of, down 17 at the break. But
yeah, Kate, not only that, but he said we turn it over, then we go into scoring droughts where we just don't score for like 4 or 5 minutes. So when you're turning it over and not scoring, obviously that's a recipe for disaster. And of course, Terry was a great overachiever when he played. He started at Wisconsin Stevens Point, never retired with the Portland Trail Blazers. And you know, the guy was an unbelievable, incredible scorer, coached in the NBA, a couple of different teams. So, you know, he knows what it takes.
And
but getting everybody to do it is another thing.
And he's already had some good wins during his tenure at Portland. This year 4, and obviously difficult with so many of the injuries, but in the past. Knocked off Oregon State, beaten Portland State. Got a first-round WCC tournament win over San Diego back in his first season. So they've shown flashes. Now it's just about finding that full team, right?
Well, and I
playing with a short bench.
I thought, quite frankly, Kate, they started the season well. I think they won 6 of their first 7. Played Gonzaga the first league game, played them extremely hard, was ahead at halftime, then beat San Francisco. But since then, you know, it just hasn't happened for them.
Elijah Thomas looking to get on a three-point fun. Quincy Farabee clears for the Pilots. You can feel the crowd, though, wanting to explode, wanting their team to just throw down the hammer. But this game once and for all. Offensive rebound out to Ferentsen. He takes it all the way.
That's what I'd like to see Ferentsen do a little bit more. Attack the rim. You know, he's a three-point guy, but sometimes you got to complement your game, put it on the deck, go to the basket, get to the foul line, try to score in a variety of different ways.
Pilots just happy to have him back. Redshirted his freshman year after having knee surgery. Didn't play much last year because of the rotation. He was behind Josh McSwiggan and Marcus Shaver, who both departed the Bluff. He was 6 games earlier this season with the calf, and now Ferentsen just back at Loyola, had 11 points there. So here he is again, trying to get going, because you can see what he's capable of.
Got a beautiful rotation, and he's proactive. I mean, he's looking for quick offense now, and I'm sure Terry Porter told us guys, look, we're down 20 or 21 points. You know, we've got to score and score in a hurry.
That one off the foot of Diabate. So we will take a timeout here, and we will step away as well. Randy Bennett and the Gales up big here in the second half.
5 for 10, he's got 15, but the three-point field goals have been a huge, huge difference. And the Gales, Ford's got 5 and White only 2, but the Gales have made a ton of threes in this one.
13 and counting as a team. Jordan Ford leading all scorers with 21 points. 5 3-pointers, 8 of 13 from the floor, a couple of assists. As that number continues to climb, 18 assists on 25 made field goals for the Gales.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Everybody can shoot, though, here. Sharing the basketball, getting everyone in on the action. Malik Fitz back in. Malik Fitz.
He isn't getting this one, is he?
Back in.
Back in, and I thought a great job by Ford. He handled that double team well and did a beautiful job just to release the ball to the open player.
With that triple, he pulls even with Jordan Ford. They both have 21 points. Tommy Kuzi now with 8 assists. Diabate, no, gets his own rebound and finishes.
You get a little preview here of Diabate and what he can do inside. I thought coming into this game, certainly Portland had a big advantage at the post, and they wanted to attack. There's another block. He's had like 4 blocks.
Number 4 for D, as they call him, tying his career high.
Go right back to him.
Fotu getting a hand in there.
He's wide open. Hello.
There was one that time by the Pilots. Season high for blocks was 2 for D before tonight. He's doubled that, so 4 big rejections. Nice dunk that time. He's got 14, 6 of 7 from the floor. Just need more help when everybody in the red, white, and blue is making buckets. Tommy Kuzi. Isaiah White with it. Pulls up. And misses everything.
Right idea, no finish. Timeout. I think Randy Bennett is maybe trying to get another player in the game is why you call that timeout. But certainly Portland's had a little bit of a run the last minute or so. And Tahiro Diabate, I just think he's made a lot of progress. And here's the block. By the way, the 4th block on from Diabate. And look at this finish. So he's had a nice game tonight.
Gales always get such great fan support here, Dan. Let's check out our fan of the game. This was a tough one tonight because she was rocking out.
Yeah, she was rocking. He's having a good time.
He's ready to go.
Oh, my gosh.
The Cal fan's a little confused in the middle, but his teammates knew what was going on. And the student section is here and loud. In parts, I like this idea because they're getting their Gonzaga tickets, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
The Gonzaga game's still to come, but you don't get your Gonzaga tickets unless you are here the entire game and they meet you after the game and hand out the tickets. That's good promotion when it comes to the Gales ticket office. Well done. We know the students would be here regardless, right?
Well, it's a great family atmosphere really here in Moraga. And this is an exciting St. Mary's team. You know, anytime a team shoots threes the way the Gales do, this is a club that's, I mean, they put on a pretty good show every time out.
And new to the show, the sophomore from Mountain View started his collegiate career at Cincinnati, and then when Mick Cronin left ahead to take the UCLA job, Logan Johnson transferred here. So still getting used to Randy Bennett's systems on offense and defense, but proud of Mason, you can tell, wearing the right shoes, and Diabate not going away.
Diabate has not missed many shots tonight. I mean, he's shooting a high field goal percentage.
7 of 8 from the floor, in fact.
And couple that with, what, 4 blocks.
Blake Fitz has already hit a season and career high 5 3-pointers. Jordan Ford has 5 threes as well. Fitz is going to get called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, that's a great job by Diabate. You know, presence of mind to establish. That was an easy call for the official. So Diabate did a great job that time just to get in the way.
Overall, though, Dan, has been a really clean game. Just the 5th team foul on St. Mary's in this second half. First personal on Malik Fitz. High hedge from Kotu. Adams, nice move by Chase Adams. You can see flashes from Adams tonight. Why he led Orr High School to a state championship as a senior back in 2018. Then took a prep year. A lot of guys are doing this.
Yeah, take a prep. Well, he's a Chicago guy.
Prep.
He's a Chicago guy. You know, I mean, he's played a lot of basketball against top-flight competition. Growing up, as a matter of fact.
Dukas, corner triple, in and out. Diabate quickly approaching a double-double. Adams dishes. Farabee leaves it short. Here's Johnson.
Got a mismatch here, so see if they double up. If Fitz, all he's got to do is turn and shoot it. Just turn.
From Diabate, and he won't get called for the reach-in. I think that will be number 4 on Tahiro. And it will be. So Gales basketball when we come back, 72-54, St. Mary's on top.
As I said, he's a young guy that has really developed from when he first came to Portland. And, you know, I give credit to the coaching staff for that. He's just so much better than he was. And St. Mary's has been able to deal with him so far tonight.
So Wednesday and Sunday at 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, Stadium is also, in addition to having basketball, we're your home for Ring of Honor Wrestling. Check out the latest from the ROH Superstars on all Stadium platforms Wednesday and Sunday night at 8 and 11 p.m. Eastern. Stadium, welcome to the game. At the 7th team foul just before we went to break on the Pilots. So 1-1, and Malik Fitz can't finish from the free throw line. 78% free throw shooter. He's pretty much done everything else right tonight, Dan. 3 steals, 5 3-pointers. And Alex Dukas can't believe he gets called for that foul. Thought that one was all ball.
Still, I thought very solid half-court offense that time by Portland. And I think Terry Porter obviously recognizes that Diabate's their guy. They're going to say the foul occurred before the shot on the roll, so it's going to be out of bounds.
So at the 4th personal on Alex Dukas. So he will head to the bench. Elijah Thomas back in. 6th team foul on the Gales in the second half. One more, the Pilots will go to the line for a 1-1. Berenson. Thomas clearing. And here could potentially be the point guard to take over again for Jordan Ford. Mentioned him earlier. Local kid out of Mountain View. Randy Bennett says he's just got a swag about him.
Well, Logan did start the first, 3 or 4 games of the year. As you said, he's a transfer from Cincinnati. So, yeah, he's played a high level of basketball and he's a terrific defensive player.
Shot clock winding down on Jordan Ford. Here comes Quincy Farabee. Adams more of a mid-range guy than a 3-point shooter. Elijah Thomas really taking advantage of his minutes tonight. Number 10 in the white.
Well, Portland Kate's had a couple of opportunities the last couple of times down the floor, have not been able to score.
Speaking of not being able to score, it's been 3 minutes since St. Mary's put the ball through the hoop. Malik Fitz for a career high! 6 3-pointers now!
Why not?
For Malik Fitz.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, I've seen Fitz play a number of times. I mean, I know people are saying, well, he's not a great outside shooter. Well, take a look at this game. Yes, he is.
New career high for the Rancho Cucamonga native. 6 threes, 24 points, and counting. Still 5 minutes to play here at University Credit Union Pavilion, the UCUP. What do you think about that?
Well, I think,
we're working on it.
Sure. Sounds good.
Trying to figure out the new nickname for this spot. Could it be 7? Not yet. Nice save that time by Ferentsen. Wright pulls up. Getting a little bit loose here at the end of our game. Johnson with the steal. Pilot trying to draw a charge. I believe that was Isaiah White.
Boy, bodies all over the place. Yeah, you don't want the game to get out of control. So the officials may have to tighten it up a little bit. I thought there was some contact there and no call.
Johnson, the San Francisco Chronicle Player of the Year his senior season. Farabee out, Fitz. Ooh, he had a wide open
Sure
jump.
did.
I think his eyes got a little bit too wide before he caught that basketball.
Well, you can see Portland now, they're just thinking 3 all the way. I mean, they're not even, are they going to go inside? But the last couple of 2-3 times down, you're down 21. You're obviously looking 3.
A foul called on Kyle Bowen, the freshman. U18 Australian national team to gold at the Asia Cup this past August. Randy Bennett very excited to have him as the latest from the Aussie connection that they've created. From down under here to Moraga. Diabate continuing to lead the way for the Pilots. He's got 17 now.
Well, Dellavedova and Patty Mills weren't bad because they retired their numbers. So, you know those guys are good.
They're doing all right. Dellavedova winning the title with the Cavs, Mills with the Spurs.
Well, that was,
Take a
to my
look at the Raptors
recollection,
here.
too, Kate, the starting backcourt for the Australian national team in the Olympics, right?
I believe you
Yeah,
are
I
correct.
believe that's my remembrance anyway. That pretty good backcourt when they both went to St. Mary's.
Here's Johnson. Christopher Zorix, pardon me, the redshirt sophomore out of Latvia, number 23 is checked in for St. Mary's. Bowen loses it, and I'm gonna say that was a kick basketball. Well, we will discuss during the break, and when we come back, Randy Bennett and the Gales looking to close out their 19th win of the season. That was one of them there, and I believe all three of the steals came in about our first 3 minutes of the ballgame, and that really set the tone, and the Gales have cruised since as they go in search of their 4th win in a row, looking to improve to 6-2 in WCC play as they get set. They still got Gonzaga here and away coming up.
Yeah, you bet. They've got them, and by the way, they've got at BYU, which is going to be a very difficult game. So when you outscore your opposition 45-9 from 3-point range, you probably have a pretty good chance. Is this going to be? Yeah, why not?
Number
40, no, 48.
Are you kidding me, Dan?
I know.
7 3-pointers
That's it.
for Malik Fitz. The career high continuing to climb. 3:20 still to go. Who knows? He could get to 9 on his own.
I'm kind of laughing because an NBA guy told me, well, we don't think he shoots very well from the outside. I said, well, I think he shoots well from the outside.
I think you might have heard him.
Yeah, he might have.
Is that what we like to call bulletin board material?
Yeah, no bet, no question.
Season high 28 points against the California Golden Bears in that big non-conference win over at Haas. 27 tonight for Malik Fitz. And if he keeps shooting like that, he's going to blow past it very quickly. 17 WCC last year.
Not this year.
I'd say he's got a good shot at that first year. If he keeps this up.
I would say so. Yes, he does. Well, when you think about the conference, and you think about two guys, like a 1-2 punch that we said at the top of the show, there's not many better than Ford and Fitz. I mean, those two guys are devastating for the Gales.
Well, and that's the thing, because we've seen them go off individually, right? As you mentioned, Fitz had a great game against Cal. Jordan Ford had a great game against Arizona State. But if they do this together, as you mentioned, Dan, they can knock off anybody.
Well, it's really a shame the Gales lost Toss earlier in the year at about 6'10", because he's a tremendous all-around player.
Christopher Zorix, welcome to the 3-point five.
I think one of the criteria when you go to St. Mary's, you have to be a great perimeter shooter. I mean, can you have enough shooters on your team? Randy Bennett said, no, I want every guy to be an unbelievable shooter. And that's why they lead the nation in 3-point field goal percentage. I mean, it's incredible.
Their season high, Dan, 17 3-pointers here tonight. The season high was against Sonoma State, obviously, an overmatched team. This is in conference play. Logan Johnson showing us why Randy Bennett is very excited that the transfer has come back home.
Well, Randy Bennett mentioned that Logan, you know, it's hard to get everybody playing time with the guys on the floor, but he said he's going to be a real asset to this program before he's finished. I mean, you saw a little bit of a little preview of how good he is. I mean, that was a big-time move going all the way to the rim. And what I like about Logan, what I really like about Logan is his defense. I think he can be a real defensive wizard on the floor.
In and out as Jock Perry tried to get in on the long distance fun as well, looking for his first 3-pointer of the season. Now Perry playing some defense from way downtown. Oh my goodness. Tonki Ferentsen. Well, he is a 43% 3-point shooter. Well beyond the arc that time. as we approach the final 90 seconds here at the University Credit Union Pavilion. And the fans are very proud of the way their team has performed tonight.
Again?
Again?
Again? That was close.
But he may get another chance. And Randy Bennett will take a timeout to get some more Gales into the action. The students letting them hear it.
Don't leave early. The fans better not leave early. You don't get a ticket. Don't do it.
You want to come see Gonzaga.
They've got you on tape. Some guys are leaving early. You will not get a ticket to the Gonzaga game.
Well, he was the one who was our play of the game. So let's make Malik Fitts our player of the game too, Dan. He's had a phenomenal night.
Phenomenal night from all over the floor. Congratulations to Malik Fitts. He's been fantastic, making all kinds of threes, scoring inside.
Aaron Menzies, the redshirt senior from Manchester, England, is checked in. And he is fouled. What a night for Malik Fitts. 10 of 17 from the floor. 50%, 7 of 14, a new career high from distance. A couple of assists, those 3 steals in just 30 minutes of action.
Here's a guy right here in Aaron Menzies at the free throw line, who's 7'3". He's a redshirt senior, came from Seattle, was hurt last year, but he's never been healthy. He just hurt his hand a year ago, and Randy Bennett said he just never has gotten into the flow. But he's a big man out there. He really is.
He is a big man.
Yes,
7'3", 265.
Yes, he is.
Set the school record up at Seattle U, 79 blocks as he was named to the WAC all-defensive team in the 2017-18 season. But as you mentioned, transferred here, had to sit out last season with a hand injury. So just hasn't really found his form. And he flashed for the Red Hawks at Seattle U. This is Theo Akuba, sophomore out of Montgomery, Alabama. Final minute here in Moraga as Randy Bennett inches ever closer to his 203rd career WCC victory.
Well, the Pilots definitely caught the Gales in one of those unbelievable shooting performances. Zorich is just keeping it going. I mean, it's been a barrage of trays in this one by St. Mary's.
18 now, Dan. 18 three-pointers, 11 in the first half. They're one away from a school record. They made 19 three-pointers against Cal Poly 5 years ago, back in 2015. They're just going to run down the clock here.
Very impressive, obviously. You know, St. Mary's. And Randy Bennett said, look, by the way, I think we're playing better and better as the year goes on. Now, they'll be tested, you know, because they've got to go to BYU. They have Gonzaga twice. They beat San Francisco twice, which was, which was 2 good wins for them. And they're definitely in the NCAA tournament hunt. I mean, there's no doubt. If he keeps it going, they'll be in, because they played a much, much better schedule than they have in the past. And boy, the Gales were impressive. I mean, it was unbelievable tonight.
18 three-pointers, shot 45% from a team, from beyond the arc, and they were led by that man, the redshirt junior, Malik Fitts, a career high 7 three-pointers, and a hug between Randy Bennett and the now Pilots trainer Amy Carroll, who had a long training career here at St. Mary's before heading up to the Bluff. What a night, though, Dan. You've been impressed by him all season. It's like he knew you were here.
I was impressed by him late last year, and I thought he had an excellent year. And this year he's even been better. And he's a guy that he's hard to stop. I mean, he just really is. I mean, at 6'8", he plays a lot bigger. He can shoot outside. And, you know, we said before that Ford and Fitts are as good a combo as there is, not only in the conference, but really, you know, you look about 2 guys in the country, those are 2 you've got to deal with when you're playing the Gales. So impressive win, good job. And I know that Portland, you know, got beat by 20, but still, you know, I thought they did some positive things, and Diamante had a solid game, and so did White.
And they did it all without Tanner Krebs, who left with a right leg injury in the first half. That's all we know, so we are wishing Tanner Krebs well, as The Gales pick up their 19th win of the season. Now 6-2 on the season in WCC play. And as you mentioned, Dan,